Tayshawn stepped off the elevator on the third floor and walked toward his apartment, leaving a trail of wet footprints in his wake. Tears ran down his cheeks, mixed with excess water from the hydrant. His whole body hurt from the beating he had taken from Apple, but it was his wounded pride that made him cry. He hated Apple for what he had done and vowed to get back at him. As he stood in front of the door to his apartment and prepared to knock, the door came open and out stepped a man whom he knew from the neighborhood. He was wearing a black Raiders fitted cap and black t-shirt with a thick rope chain with a large medallion that rested on his chest. His dark blue Levi jeans were creased down the middle and laid almost perfectly over the front of his white and red Nike Cortez. Poking out from his back pocket was a red silk handkerchief. He looked down at the soaked young boy and smiled, revealing a mouthful of gold teeth. The shiny grills had always fascinated Tayshawn, and he loved to see the older head smile. His name was Tango, and he was the man in their hood. Tango was a sporting young dude who had migrated to New York from Los Angeles a few years prior and started a rapid climb up the underworld ladder. He was a different kind of cat from a different part of the world, so the young kids flocked to him, more out of curiosity than anything. They would sit around for hours listening to Tango tell war stories about his life in L.A. and Piru love. He made it all sound so poetic that, in a short period of time, he had gathered a good-sized crew who spread his drugs and his beliefs throughout their projects and the neighboring hoods. By the time some of the established New York hustlers realized what was going on, Tango and his gospel had already infected their neighborhood. His crimson flag was firmly planted. "What up, young blood?" Tango rubbed Tayshawn's head, as he always did when he greeted him. He looked at his wet hand and frowned. "Damn, where you coming from? The pool?" "No," Tayshawn said. He kept his eyes on the ground so that Tango wouldn't see that he had been crying. Tango was one of the cats in the hood they all looked up to, and Tayshawn didn't want him to think that he was weak. Tango lifted Tayshawn's head and looked into his eyes. "What's the matter, shorty? Somebody fucking with you?" "Yeah, that punk-ass nigga Apple was messing with me, so we had a fight, but he beat me up," Tayshawn said shamefully. Just thinking about it upset him, and his eyes watered up again. "Hey, ain't no need for them tears, young blood," Tango said sternly. "You got your ass kicked, but the most important thing is you fought back. It's a cold and ugly world out there, kid, and only the strong survive. If you get knocked down, you get back up and keep swinging. No matter how big your enemy is, you've got to fight. This way, people will know you ain't no sucker, and the next one won't be so quick to try you. Stand strong at all times." He placed his fist on Tayshawn's chest. "And never anyone's victim. You hear me, young blood?" "Yeah," Tayshawn said. "Cool." Tango peeled out a knot of money and peeled off 2 $10 bills, which he placed in Tayshawn's hand. "Put that in your stash and buy yourself some candy or something when you go back outside. Don't let your moms and step-pops know I gave it to you because you'll wake up and find that shit missing." Tango laughed. "I'm out. Stay up, young blood." He rubbed Tayshawn's head and left. Tayshawn walked into the apartment and found it exactly as he had expected to find it. A mess. The garbage can in the kitchen was packed to capacity, and instead of someone taking it out, they just hung plastic bags on the doorknob. Those were filled with garbage, too. The dishes were overflowing in the sink, with roaches feasting on some old grits that had been drying on a plate for 3 days. Tayshawn stuck